Alright, this one's going to be put out under music, and you're going to be able to edit it down yourself. Pretty straightforward project. You've got to do reconnaissance when you start. You need to write things down. You need to get a general lay of the land. There's lots of ways to do that. One of the ways you can do it very often is that going v.1, 1, 1. That doesn't always work. Zoom extents, because things are floating around. You look for where you're going. You might be able to see, oh yeah, that looks, you could do shade. That doesn't work unless the things are faced. So when I do shade on a command, you can use your, sometimes you'll be able to see whether it's a cut or a fill. You want to look around. You want to take out a sheet of paper. You probably make a plot and get some ideas. You want to draft it in plan. You want to draft it in profile. You want to draft it in section. So very often you're going to see that views are around. So you get to something like this and you realize, okay, you've got a general idea. You look over and do reconnaissance on not only on the drawing but then also on your prospector. You might go up and double check in the settings as well. You might want to go up and double check. Edit the drawing settings. No datum, no projection, no good. So make a phone call. Figure out why whoever they are did not set up your coordinate system correctly. Make sure that it is. Double check it when you're making these shifts. But pretty common, you don't need to have it done, but you need to have it to do a collaboration. So state plane, Wisconsin Central, U.S. foot. Remember that code. Apply. Okay, this would be a good time to change your scale. If your predominant scale is going to be 1 to 40, that's a good time to change it. You've looked at all the general settings. There's lots of things you'll be able to change and use there. That's what they are, but you really want to see on what's going with your data. There's 3 surfaces. It would probably be better if Tyler Civil was existing and these are everything else is proposed, but you've got an existing surface and then a datum and a top. The top is probably the one you need to design to. You have alignments. You have alignments for superhighway only, and you've got a proposed and existing. You only have one profile view. I would suggest not making a lot more. Sites, you have something called Site 1. It has feature lines in it. Pipe networks, there's no pipe networks in there. Corridors, you've got a corridor in there, and it looks like it. You can check the properties on the corridor. It's got a couple of regions with nulls, right? It's shown as no display, but it's still displaying. Be very aware that the corridors, they have to be frozen to not see them. Okay, you've got feature lines, you've got surfaces put out for them. That's where those surfaces came from. You have boundaries. So you have to realize what's there. And then with your pen in hand, probably, you can start thinking about what some common elevation abouts are. You write down the starting and ending stations if you need to do. So I'm going to hit apply and OK. You make sure that you save early and often enough. You'll notice up at the top here, this is not the right project number. I'm not going to change it now. Understand directory structures and understand when you're messing with other people's stuff. Even if it's not intentional, you want to kind of right away give a note that I went in and erased something. That said, you really, once you know what the surfaces are, you don't need to see them. So you go to the surfaces, go to Tyler Civil here, surface properties, and change that one to no display. You really don't want to get involved in necessarily freezing layers for corridors, but you're going to have to be aware that you're going to need to do that every now and then. You can go to your alignments, center line alignments, and you can go right ahead, look at properties of that and write down it begins at 100 and it ends at a little bit less than 200. So begin at 200. There's all kinds of other design criteria you will and will not use. You see, oh, there's some super elevation data put in for that alignment. So do reconnaissance on your drawing. That said, you want to go to the center. There's all kinds of different ways to go to the center. One of the better ways is to go about, and let me go ahead now and actually freeze the corridor. But if you're going to start freezing corridors, it's a good idea to first give a layer manager setting. click that and say new, before, corridor, freeze. Start notating these. Hit OK, hit cancel, close, and you can then start learning to use the tools like this. Clicking on a freeze, layer freeze, and picking something you want to freeze. And you notice there it got you pretty much down to a point where you are set. Now you have what's pretty easy to grab in terms of an alignment, and you might want to think about going out. So you can go here. Now you want to think about not being on any old layer, but having a set of layers that's called constraint. You notice here this is pretty jumpy. So I'm going to go into make new layers, Z views. Pretty jumpy, I'd have to say. So you can pull this out over here, and you're going to pull layers down, and I'm just going to put it down in Z views because I'm not going to make a layer. You're going to make a layer. Z constraints horizontal, Z constraints vertical, Z where the gold is. You need to make layers, and if you're going to make them, you're going to put them on layer Z. Learning to draft from the center. Shift right click from the center of something and then take it out. At this point you see that I can actually go to the node in this case. And then if you're really in this world, you want to list it right away to make sure that it's 0 and it's relatively good. I'm going to now, remember you can use commands like lengthen, delta. I'm going to lengthen it 100 feet. 100 more, 100 more, 100 more, 100 more. And then realizing you would like to actually begin this and start it, the stationing, directly at the intersection of your road. So you can do a trim, but you don't want to trim out. You'd like to know how far back to now do this. You hit a regen, and you have some point right there that immediately in your mind you could begin with labeling it. You could actually label this point out there and know the distance between the two of them with station equations. So station equations, remember you do not want to lose the annotation. You're going to add alignment labels, station offset fixed point, select your alignment, and what you're going to select at a point is hopefully at an intersection here, and it sticks it there. You're done with that. You're going to grab that and move not the pointer but the box. So that was moving the pointer. So you don't want to move the pointer, you want to move the box. And that leads the pointer around. So you've labeled up that station equation, and you also might as well then, if you're going to, in this case, you're realizing that that line right there, LI for list, is a feature line, right? And it's a feature line that probably depicts the bottom of slope at the catch points, the slope intercept points. So you're going to go ahead and do an annotation there. Select the alignment. That's now going to be an offset. So we're going to do it again. Annotation, alignment, station offset. Select your alignment. Station along the alignment. You're going to try to grab the endpoint of that. And then the endpoint of, try that again. You're going to do the annotation, alignment labels, station offset, select the alignment. Along the alignment, not a good interface. Intersection of that, and then station offset, the end, not a good interface. There's a better interface that you'll probably want to use. Same thing, you're going to drag that box out. So now you've got, essentially, you should be able to figure out from your offset where you're going to begin your labeling. So you're going to begin at 49.633 less. You take out your calculator and you say 200 plus 00 minus 49.633, and you begin your stationing that far back. You don't have to do it, it's just good design. And that's what you're going to do. And so you're going to lay this out, this alignment here, you're going to lay it long enough, and you might at this point even start thinking about doing your design work. So if you're going to have a 90-foot radius on your cul-de-sac, You can draw a circle in this good flat constraint work. A circle near, maybe you've got something you got to do there, and you're going to use the radius of the circle. Let's make it 45. And then you might even do some offsetting. You're going to offset for the edge of pavement maybe 12 feet if this is what you're going to do. Offset, offset. You're going to break your circle. And in reality, you're going to learn to break your circle in the right direction. And you're going to learn, even in this case, to go ahead and trim or break your circle out near the top. So you're going to break that circle this way. And you can even extend, screw that, send it in here. And then you're going to fill it, perhaps. A radius of maybe it's 30. You're going to fill it those lines here. And those eventually are going to become design lines. You don't need to run all that alignment. You only need to do it through where you want to be. And so you might just go here end to end. And then later on you might label those out. So you really don't need anything else here. You just need this. Again, it's on some constrained layer. This can get in the way. So amongst things you could do is, again, label. You could go ahead and label. Annotation, alignment labels, station offset fixed point. That's too much work in this. You can label a point, or you might just want to put out a circle out here or some marker that's going to get you a target to where you want to go. So I'm going to put circle at the end point of there. Again, it's on the Z view layer, probably a little bit too big. Circle at the end point here. And now you can effectively go over here and do the same thing here. Circle at the end point here. You've got a straight alignment, and you can erase that out. Now you are quite capable of going, and I'm going to hit pause here, take out a calculator, not even hit pause, take out your calculator. You don't want to do this. You'd rather have a calculator on your desk, but I'll show you the calculations are part of this along the way, and they're probably better done on a calculator on your desk. 200 minus 49.633. 49.633. Your beginning station is 19,950.637. 19,950.367. You've gone at least down to the bottom of the slope. So now when you go about, and you could realistically, I'm going to tell you, it is reasonable, extremely reasonable, go ahead and just do the objects and convert by objects, but we do want to get in the habit at least of letting you know why you might do it this way, and that's because the tool looks the same in the vertical and the horizontal. That's a good thing and the bad thing. Alignment creation tools. Give it a name with your number on it. I'm going to call this December 4th. You want to give it the starting station you just came up with. So 19,950.367. You probably want to tell it how many kind of labels you want. Hit OK, and then you come to this, and you're going to remember on this one, just fix line 2 points, shift right click, the center. Everything is in 2D. Center grabs it, shift right click, the center. Immediately it does it for you. You are set to go. All that's left, and we'll fit it in this frame, is to go ahead and, in fact, go ahead and create a surface profile for the right project. Select what you want. You don't need the datum. You'd like the top for now and civil, and you're good to go. The next step will be, of course, to bring it in. Thanks for listening.